Hey everyone, Lisa Resnick here with The Seed by Dandelion-Inc. This week I have a phenomenal guest. Her name is Kelly. She is the owner, founder of Eden Woodcraft. I mean, this girl walked in the door of the podcast studio and you just felt her positive, vibrant energy. So please listen in, find out how this girl, who was and still is a pharmacist, started her business, Eden Woodcrafts. It's a great story, so please listen in. Welcome to The Seed, cultivating growth and empowering women in business, brought to you by Dandelion-Inc. I'm your host, Lisa Resnick, and this podcast is all about connecting, developing, and supporting women in business. Join me as we explore tips and insights on leadership, business development, and social media strategies that can help you thrive. We'll also hear from amazing guests who share their stories and experiences, offering inspiration and practical advice for your entrepreneurial journey. So tune in, download, like, and subscribe. And remember, if you love what you hear, share it with others. Together, let's cultivate growth and empower women in business.
Let's do it.
All right, welcome to The Seed, where we explore stories of growth, resilience, and purpose. I'm your host, Lisa Resnick, and today we have a very special guest, Kelly Shirey. Did I pronounce that correct? Shirey.
Yeah.
I am infamous for always mispronouncing last names. It is just, I'm surprised I even say mine right, especially since I'm married and it wasn't my birth name, but whatever.
Yeah, it's fine. Most people say Shirley, so you at least were on the right track with it. It's fine. Yeah.
Thank you.
There's no L.
Well, do you remember, you had to read Romeo and Juliet, right?
Yes, yeah.
There is the line in Romeo and Juliet about the rose. Would a rose not smell so sweet with any other name?
Yes.
I mean, that right there is the reason why I think I mess up everybody's names. But I digress. Let's get back to you, because you are the owner and artist behind Eden Woodcrafts.
Yes.
Matter of fact, I was sitting there watching WFMJ in the morning, and there you were with your kiddos at your side.
Boys.
Yes, which I have two boys too.
Yeah.
But it was you captured my heart, and I think I may have messaged you.
Yes,
psychotically,
you
like a few minutes afterwards.
Right in the morning, bright and early.
Hey, she's up already, so might as well message her now before everybody else starts messaging
Two kids,
her.
I'm always up at that time, so it's fine.
I know. But did you ever really sleep in late before?
Later, but no, not really late. I've always been a get up and go person. So,
and then you're like, there's just not enough time during the day.
Yeah.
And then come 9 o'clock at night, you're like, I just want to go to bed.
Oh, yeah, I'm in bed.
Just wait till they get older and they start staying up later and you're trying to stay awake for them to get home. And you're like, I just want to go to bed.
Yeah.
And it's 10 o'clock at night and they're still at practice or whatever it is that they're doing, going to Sheets to get food.
Oh my gosh, I can't even think about that.
Yeah. It does. It happens in a blink of an eye. So hold on to these moments for sure. So we want to talk about your journey and your transformation of healing after the devastating loss of your daughter, Eden, Isabella.
Yes.
And which you named your business after.
Yeah.
And which I'm sure a lot of other women out there can completely resonate with that. I know I've had 4 miscarriages.
Yeah.
And it is very difficult.
It is.
It is 100% a loss.
Yes.
Very much. And you created a business to help provide, not only did it give you the solace, but it also, you turned it in a way to provide solace and comfort for others.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, that's extraordinary. How'd you decide to do that?
Really, it started with wanting to make my own memory of her. So when we lost her, one of the only things we got some pictures done in the hospital, and then I had her footprints. And I stumbled upon the idea of a newborn footprint sign where they're done in a 3D fashion. And that concept I latched onto, because I'm going to try not to get emotional, but like you can see the footprints on the paper, but then when you have it in a 3D form, you can like place your hands on it. You can feel it, and just it's something about having that like in the palm of your hands again.
Makes it more real.
Yeah, it brings you back, and it just, not that when you go through something like that, not that you need something to help you remember. And that was always something I was worried about. Like, what if I forget? What if I forget the feeling of her in my arms or the weight of her and all that? And it's like, I can think about it and I can go right back. But
that never goes away.
That 3D version of it was just so powerful to me. So it all started that all I wanted, well, I originally just wanted to buy an item like that. And then it was never available. And I waited for a year. And then I finally was like, you know what? Like, I'm handy. I can do this. And I showed my husband, and I was just like, hey, do you think we could figure out how do you do this? Like, how do you make a 3D wood sign? And I went like down the black hole that is the internet.
I was about to say, like, how did you spiral into, because there's so many different 3D printing, like, and wood cutting machines, like all these different things.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I have, what is the thing that everybody has right now that they print T-shirts on?
The Cricut?
Yes.
Is it the Cricut?
The Cricut to me is complicated.
Yeah. So it's so funny. I have a Cricut in my basement. I've never touched it. A friend gave it to me, and I was like, oh, yeah, I think I could use that. I find it so intimidating. I'm like, no, give me a power tool.
Are you for
real? And I'm
real?
good. Yeah, I'm not touching that Cricut. I think maybe one day I will, but.
I figured you'd be like, the Cricut is way too easy.
No, I've never.
There was not even a moment of a challenge, so I just skipped right over to here.
It's been sitting there, yeah. I don't know. But it's something about, like the shop and the power tools and all that just, like, pulls me to it.
Did you, growing up, did you ever, like, work on, like, did you even build a birdhouse?
No, and I didn't take wood shop. My grandfather, on my dad's side, he was very much into woodworking, and if I could tell you the amount of times I've thought about him, and, like, I wish... that I had my grandpa that was doing this along with me. And then two, also just like, hey, if he could see me now,
I know.
Like, he'd be so proud of me.
I know, but I kind of feel like he is with you right now as you're doing it.
Yeah, I have a lot of his old tools, and some of them are like hanging on my wall now. And
that's awesome. Yeah,
there's little like parts of him through it. So that's special.
So you're also a pharmacist.
Yes, yeah. So this...
a lot of people don't think, because pharmacists are mind, math, medicine, like everything. Nobody's thinking like working with your hands.
Yeah, and neither did I. So yeah, I mean, you go through high school and you take those tests. It's like, what are you good at? What should you do? And it's so funny because now I know what I should do. Yeah. And I didn't test for that on anything. My own was like, go something math and science. Like, this is what you're good at. And I think I just didn't try I did art class, but no wood shop or anything in high school. I just went the safe path is what I call it.
Okay, I'm just going to say this right now. Yeah. Being a pharmacist is not a safe path.
Okay.
It's not. I mean, that has to be, at least in my mind, just like woodwork. Like, that to me is a very complex occupation to go into.
Maybe we should phrase it. Like, it wasn't an easy path.
True.
But
you are right. When we were young and growing up, I don't even know if they would have had what you're doing right now as a response to those questionnaires. And I don't even know if they had be an entrepreneur as a response.
Probably not. No, I don't think so.
I think it's just like, here, we're gonna let you know these are your standard careers, high level. There's only 10 jobs out there for you guys. That's all that we have. And that's really how they, I think, and I don't know much about those tests. So I'm really talking with no basis whatsoever. But I feel like that's what those tests were like. Mm-hmm. Like, we didn't really know all our options out there. Yeah.
And I just went, I had like a list of things, like, here's what you tested highly in. This is kind of the area that you would probably excel at.
And clearly did.
And I just chose to kind of follow it. Like, I don't know. And I found it was definitely hard. Like, school for pharmacy, it was very, very hard. And there was times where, like, I broke down. So I don't want to give anyone the impression that it was hard. But to me, I never found a passion in it, but it was the path that I chose. It is a great way to provide for my family. I mean, I'm also married. My husband also provides for my family, but like we had the joint income and all that.
As a lot of us do now.
Yeah. So it was just, I don't know, it just seemed like a good path to follow. And I found myself, I graduated school. I started, they call them floater pharmacists, where you just go around to the different stores whenever like someone's on vacation, you fill in.
Is that regionally?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was in the Akron-Canton area doing that. And then I got placed into a store, not really by my choice. It was just like, hey, you're the new grad. You're the bottom of the totem pole. We need you here. So it was like, okay. So then I got placed in that store. And I don't even know I think it was a month or two, the manager of that store left. And then it was like, do you want to manage the store? And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm a new grad, so okay, like, I will do that. It was a newer store, so it was slower. It was a great store to learn and kind of develop those management skills. But I did that for 7 or 8 years. And
oh, wow, that's a long time.
It was a long time, yeah. I found I didn't really like it. Really, I don't want to say pharmacy in general. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. And I never saw myself pursuing anything that I loved. To me, it was just a job. Like, I'm here to get a paycheck, to do a job, to make sure I do well at that job. And I didn't really realize what was missing until I went through everything with Eden.
I think that a lot of times in life, when it comes to our jobs and our occupations, there seems to be, there's a variety, but the two main frames of thought are, you have those that grow up, go to college, don't go to college, it doesn't really matter, but it was all about pursuing their passions and their purpose. Mm-hmm. And then you have another group of people, which, in all honesty, a lot of times it is the Midwestern.
Yeah.
And actually helped me out in D.C. because of the mentality that people believe comes from that region. And it was, you work. Mm-hmm. And your job is there to provide. It doesn't matter if you're passionate about it. It doesn't matter if there's a love behind it. But throughout all of it, what I think the coolest thing that comes from is finding out how much more we're capable of.
Yeah.
Like, not only can we conquer the mundane, the stuff that we don't want to do.
Yes.
But we also can, like, actually reach out and conquer and, like, in the thrust and add on to everything, the things that we're passionate about as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I think that's so true.
Yeah. And you've done it.
Thank you.
You guys, plug, go to Eden Woodcraft, Woodworks, no, Woodcrafts. That's what I was right. Yeah. .com to be able to see. And people have the ability to order custom from you as well, right?
It's shopedenwoodcrafts.com because some random person that doesn't use their website has edenwoodcrafts.com.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Happened with Dandelion too.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, you don't even use it.
I know, same.
But yeah, so now it's shopedenwoodcrafts.com. But yeah, I'm there, or like Instagram or Facebook. You can find me on there and just message me.
But you're subliminally telling people what they're supposed to be doing.
You're supposed to shop.
That's right, while they're going on there, which is actually quite perfect.
Yeah, that's true.
The other person could just keep the other one. It doesn't matter. Yeah. People will not know what to do there.
Exactly.
So how long has this company been?
So I started, Eden passed in 2017, and it was soon after that I found the idea of the footprints. And then my son was born. I always have to think about the timing of events. And then my son was born, my first son, in 2018. And it was on the way home from the hospital that I finally told my husband. I'm sitting in the back seat with him, and I think I had footprints on the mind again because now I had his footprints. I'm like, wouldn't that be so cool to have both of their footprints next to each other? So I showed my husband on the way home, and we're like, yeah. So as I would sit there nursing or pumping and all that. And
did you
researching.
have like the equipment and everything all picked out for this?
No,
Okay.
I didn't. I still at that point did not even know
Okay.
how to do it. So that's when I stumbled upon the scroll saw, which is what I use, like one of the videos. And I'm like, what is this machine? Like, it looks like a sewing machine.
Yeah.
And I even thought too at the time when I first saw it that there was some sort of computer. Like, there's got to be a computer that like guides you cutting. There's
Yes.
no way this person is cutting
Yes.
this just by their hands. Turns out they were.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's no computer involved. So I found the scroll saw, and then Nick's mom bought, it was the cheapest scroll saw you
Okay.
could get, because at that point it's like, whoa, I'm gonna make this one sign. What's it gonna be? It'll just be something like fun little thing. I'll go into the garage every now and then and do this. So she bought me that for my birthday in February of 2019. And then it was like around May that I'm like, hey, I'll put something on Facebook that I made. And I didn't start with Eden's footprints. I just started with people's handwriting as I learned how to do it, because in my mind, I wanted the process of cutting her footprints to be more healing.
Yes.
And there was a lot of tears and frustration as I went into learning how to use a saw that I had never even heard of before. Like,
That's normal.
Yeah, yeah.
That is normal.
Like, I had no clue what I was doing.
Yeah.
So I didn't want all that frustration as I'm trying to make this healing project that's meaningful.
I love
me.
the fact that you caught on to that before you even attempted.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're like, let me work on this stuff first before
Yeah.
I like go through the calming therapeutic process
Yes.
of creating the footprints for Eden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 2019 is when it got going. And yeah, I put it on Facebook. I had someone message me like within 10 minutes asking to order something. And then that same day, somebody ordered 10.
Okay, so this is what I have to ask you, and this is what everybody's going to want to know out there. Because it is very difficult right now to sell on social media.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a service versus a product, or you have a plethora of people within your marketing field, that makes it a little bit more difficult. What was it that you posted? And was it on your personal or did you create a business page already? And then with that, like, how many people do you think you have following you? Or was it Instagram?
Yeah. So at that point, it was my personal page.
Okay.
I think I hadn't started it because at that point, I didn't see this as a business. I saw it as something for me to do. Like, maybe I'd make some gifts for friends and family. And it was my mom's handwriting that I put up. And it just said, I love you. So yeah, I don't know. It was just a personal page.
Yeah.
And there were people that I knew personally that messaged to order right away. And I think it was when I saw that interest, especially the person that, I think it started with 4, and then she's like, can we do 2 more? And then can we do like 3 more? Because as she told her friends and family of this, oh my gosh, it was the sweetest note. It was their grandfather wrote it to the grandma, and it said all the love in the world. And I'll never forget that because I cut out so many of them. Oh my gosh. It's this beautiful thing, but it kind of haunts me. But it was the sweetest note. And I think that was really my push where I'm like, oh, I could make this something. And I was still working full-time in the pharmacy. So I still didn't know if it was going to be a business or not, but that kind of gave me the push to.
But you went for it.
Yeah.
Do you know how many times? And I say this to a lot of people. Say you're going to do something, and then you'll do it.
Yeah.
If you're like, well, I'll wait until I get it done, and then I'll put it out there.
Yeah.
You'll never do it.
No, I love, and that is so. I feel like I need that right now because I'm in the process of learning a new tool. It's a CNC where we are getting the computer involved now, and like, it can do more work for me. But I've had it sitting there, and it's just intimidating to me.
See, everyone out there needs to order something from her and specifically say, with this piece of equipment, she's going to take the order and then she's going to have to do it.
Yeah. So I'm finally forcing myself, and I've put it out there that like I am making this sign with this tool. And I even told I think I think you know her. It's Ellie Platt.
Yes.
Platt Insurance.
Yes.
So I'm making Ellie sign, and I asked her, I was like, hey, is there like a hard timeline on this? Because I need to learn this tool, and I need to force, because I could have it done on the scroll saw. It could be done and finished, but I know there's benefits to using this tool if I just learn it. So I've told myself I am not allowed to touch my scroll saw.
That's right.
And I have to do this and just get out of my comfort zone.
You are absolutely correct. And everybody has a hard time, so much like if they're implementing new systems, training somebody else to come on to help them out, like utilizing new mechanisms and technology and everything like that. Everybody's so apprehensive. It's because we've worked so hard to master what we have gotten down.
Yeah.
So I get it. I totally get it. But if you don't do that, then you're not gonna step up and hit that next level. And then once you get there, you'll be like, this is easy.
Yeah.
Until the next new thing. And then you'll be like,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I've put it out there and I've said I'm doing it. So
that's
I gotta
awesome.
do it.
That's awesome. So when's that due?
Well, she doesn't have a hard deadline.
You gotta watch that, Ellie.
She's working. I know. She's like,
she's too flexible.
Yeah, I know she is. She's so sweet. But yeah, I mean, for myself, I need to get going on, and I've taken little steps every week. Like I'm just trying to accomplish small thing, and I won't get too into the technical details of like, oh, I did this week and that, because it would probably bore everyone, because not everyone wants to talk like shop tools and things.
You never know. You never know.
Yeah. So I've taken little steps every week to get to the point. That's what I'm going to do after this, like the next little step for that machine.
Also, a very good point is not taking on too much and like creating those micro steps to the macro.
Yeah, definitely. Because the whole thing is so overwhelming, and that's what I'm like, okay, if I learn this next step, then I know more than I knew yesterday. And I'm not thinking ahead of like, oh, I need to cut this whole thing and add all this programming into it and do that. And that's just like scary.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can learn one thing. Every time I have a chance to work on it, I can learn one more thing about it. So that's my concept with it. By
any chance, do you have a business plan?
I don't have a business plan,
no. You're one of a million. You are not the exception. You are the rule.
Yeah.
So when you were working this out, because I'm just like translating being a pharmacist over to being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Like one thing beautiful about it, and I think it crosses both paths, is that you have to be of a growth mindset. You have to want to be a learner and really deep dive into actually knowing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And that basis of who you are has been developed for you to jump into this.
Yeah.
I think you have such a phenomenal personal touch to woodcrafting as well with your grandfather, and then utilizing, I mean, there is such a beautiful symmetry between growing up with your grandfather being a woodworker to then you looking at that for your daughter. I mean, there's such a family dynamic and bond with all of that. Yeah. It's just really profound. It really is. And when you then take your premise of everything to create the business that you have, was there anything though in the pharmaceutical world that you were able to apply when starting your business?
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing would be like time management. I mean, as a pharmacist, you are so pressed for time. So that I think is the biggest thing I've taken from it. Like I'm very good at managing my time, coming up with task lists and things like that. So that comes very naturally to me. I know I need to get better. And I am getting better. I'm taking steps to getting better at like pricing and things. And when I would, look over when I had first started, I'm like, oh, wow, I worked for $4 an hour. Like, this isn't going to go anywhere.
Well, as a pharmacist, by chance, did you ever see like the real costs of the product before people purchase the prescription?
Yeah. And I mean,
I'm not saying do that markup.
Yeah, I was going to say, like when you think about like I almost think of my products for the most part as a luxury. Like you're buying art.
Yeah.
And you're buying art that helps me support my family. It's, it's this life. And that's like where my mindset had to change, where I just want to give and give and give. And I want to make my art affordable for everybody. But then I take a step back and I'm like, my art can't be affordable for everybody, or I actually can't do this. Like I can't even just give signs away. I can't work as a pharmacist and then do this at night and live my life.
No.
So it's like it comes back to, if I want to do this, I need to do it at a price point that allows me to, buy groceries for the week.
You're right,
Things
though.
like that. And I'm not making a killing over it. I'm just supporting.
So you've somewhat done a business plan.
Yeah, in my head.
That's it, figuring it out.
Yeah. I found what's not working.
I'm going to also let you know, those that have created a business plan have only created one business plan. I think I've only met one human being out there that literally updates his business plan on a quarterly basis. Quarterly. The rest of us then do it in our head until like we're at that point where we need to get additional leverage, go to a lender, go for grant dollars or whatever, and we have to give them numbers. Then we're strapped, and then we'll crunch the numbers for everybody.
And I need to do that because I very much want this to be like my full-time thing. My real. I always call my pharmacy job like, oh, I gotta go to my real job today. But this is my real job too, especially as I've dropped down to part-time in the pharmacy. Like I need to make this real.
So just call your pharmacy job your side gig.
Yeah.
And your
my
other one,
side hustle.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's your side gig.
Yeah.
And that side gig helps you out while you are in your startup company.
Yes. Yeah.
So if you start thinking that way, it'll help out.
Yeah, that mindset. I love it.
Yeah. Because then you'll eventually start swapping the hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which will be nice.
Yeah.
With at the same time, which I do appreciate that you said time management. It's something that you were able to carry over, especially having children, being a wife, being a friend, everything, just being yourself out there in the world and taking those moments in, making sure that all that time is taken into consideration while you're conquering the world.
Yeah, time management. Well, especially for like moms out there, I know it's hard.
Tough.
Yeah, I heard this quote. I wish I could say where I heard it, but they're like, time is like spare change, where you find it in the nooks and crannies, because people are always like, how do you get stuff done?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I find 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there, and it's like it's the spare change that's in your couch, which I mean, now we always use Venmo, so there's probably no spare change in people's couch, so there's no time.
There's no more time anymore.
There's no more time because there's no more spare change. But I love that like nooks and crannies, and I'll call it pockets of time that I find to do things. But I thought that was like, just as a mom, that really spoke to me. I'm like, oh, I get that, and that is how I find time to do things.
Yeah, we have to make it.
Yeah.
Like it's okay to say, I appreciate that offer. I wish I could be there, but unfortunately I can't. It's okay to say that.
Yeah.
So what would you say your favorite part about being your own business owner is?
Ooh, gosh, it's being able to be with my boys when I want.
Yeah.
I think that is the biggest push. I mean, not only have I found something that I absolutely love doing, but when I think about my future and pharmacy versus this, I mean, retail pharmacy, you're gone a lot of nights, a lot of weekends. And my kids are young, but I'm starting to see, like, there was a swim lesson I had to miss the other day because I was at the pharmacy. And it's things like that, like, how much am I going to miss doing that job where I think I found something that I love doing and can also provide and let me be there, like when they get off the bus.
It's also missing the swim lesson to do something that you don't really love doing.
Yes, yeah. And I think it would be different if I found this passion and this feeling that I was truly making a difference in people's lives in the pharmacy and I mean, in retail pharmacy, like, we're needed.
Yes, you
like,
are.
We need that. But do I feel like I go in there and make a difference? I don't. Whereas doing the sign business, I mean, as funny as it sounds, like, oh, it's wood signs, but I feel like I have this very special part. Like, I make logo signs, and that's kind of where I find a lot of my joy because it's challenging me
Yes.
and I'm learning. But I'm never going to get rid of, like, the handwriting signs, the footprints, because I know the impact, and I get messages. Like, someone just messaged me before I left here saying how emotional she got. It was her dad's handwriting who had passed away, and she's like, I wasn't expecting to feel, like, all the emotions that I felt when I opened this. And, yeah, so I feel like I make a difference in people's lives doing this.
You do.
So
my grandfather had an eye clinic in this area.
Yeah.
And when we moved back 8 years ago, and I went for my eye appointment, even though my grandfather had already passed away for how long? Actually, even before we got married. But I went to the clinic, and the doctor there said, I thought you may want this. And it was my file with his handwriting.
Oh.
Because he was my eye doctor, like, growing up. But like, and I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah.
Like, you would never think that something like that would, like, hit you.
Yes.
But seeing the print and his handwriting was so awesome. It really was really touching. It was great. My signature is god-awful today because of him. Probably because I wanted to mimic the inability to read writing.
Yeah. I love that.
But if that was actually in display to always see, I think there does create that person and their presence always being, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is really impactful.
Thank you. Yeah, I love it.
So what are your plans for the future besides quitting your side gig and going full? Because your startup has become a full-blown.
I know. I was going to say I want to quit my real job, but no, I want to quit my side gig.
That's right.
So yeah, that's my biggest thing. Like I said, I love doing the logo sign, so I want to see myself grow as a woodworker, which, I mean, I never really thought I'd call myself a woodworker, but I think a lot of that, like, I've gotten into using tools that I never thought I would use, and it's funny, that sense of empowerment that comes from it, like learning how to use a table saw, and especially as a female.
Yeah. 100%.
I don't know. It's pretty cool.
I'm seeing you on HGTV, having your own show.
Yeah. I don't know.
This is all happening.
Yeah. So I think I want to see myself grow in that aspect, like continuing to add little things that I can do. Like for Ellie's sign, I'm doing this standoff lettering. I'm going to add that CNC machine. So I just kind of feel like I'm putting more and more, like, tools and abilities, like, in my back pocket that I can pull out and use on other logo signs. So that's where I really get creative and challenge myself. So that's an area of my business that I really want to grow. But again, I want to keep what I call my standard signs.
Yes.
Like the footprints and the handwritings. I want to keep those just kind of going through. And yeah, hopefully I feel like I'm getting close. Once my kids are in school is when I'm really going to consider leaving that little side hustle.
There you go.
The little pharmacy job, the little side hustle. So that's you
put
the
a
goal.
Timeline to it.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Yeah. And the time management it's not like you can go use a table saw with your 3-year-old in the garage with you.
Yes.
So
we could barely go to the bathroom with our 3-year-old.
Yeah.
So
he always comes with me.
Exactly.
So can I sit on your lap? I'm like, can I just be?
No, it's not possible.
Yeah. So I think the time management aspect of it will get better during the school hours. I know things like evenings are going to get busy, but I don't want to be working in the evening anyhow, which is a business owner. Like, that's, you can dictate your hours. So
that's exactly right.
That's
you judge how many orders you take. You know that you'll master the time it takes to create.
Yeah.
And then from there, you'll be able to go and fly and do all the things that you want to do, which
I'll
is
make that business plan.
That's right, which is amazing. It's just really putting down what you've already been doing.
Yeah.
Like on paper, that's it. There are those that have business plans that are like 200 pages long. And then there are those that have a business plan that's 10 pages.
Yeah.
Those that have either or, it's just really it's their personalities and what they need out on that paper or what they're going to utilize it for. Sometimes people use their business plans to also then help pitch investors. So percentages that they come in. So, and others just have it, like especially if you're bootstrapping, and it's your own investment in your own dollars, they just have it as like a framework in mind.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like writing out your goals for the year and like seeing things written down and how you can scale to hitting your points.
Yeah.
Because once you hit your points and you're like, okay, then I'm going to do this once I get to that number.
So maybe I do have more, because every year, well, I shouldn't say every year, because I started last year and then I did it again this year, but I wrote out like business goals.
Yes.
So that's
you do.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah. And maybe I just need a business plan. So when I pitch to my husband that I'm going to leave that side job.
Yes, there you go.
Look at my business
plan.
Well,
no. Then you don't need a business plan. Then you just need a pitch deck.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you can like send them a video, like your 2-minute elevator pitch video.
Yeah.
Just be like things to take in consideration.
Yeah.
Start off with your story, then go into your ask.
This is how I started what I'm doing. You might not remember.
Let me tell you what's going on. And this is where I'm going.
Yeah, it's so funny when I started this too. I thought he was going to be doing everything, like all the cutting and all that. Like I had this vision where he would cut the signs and I'd paint them and I'd put them up. I don't know, wrap them up. No, I got a hold of that scroll saw and it was like no looking back.
There you go.
This is my business now.
That's great. Well, I cannot thank you enough for coming on The Seed today, Kelly. Thank you so much. And once again, for everybody out there who wants to grab a hold of one of these signs and make her work a little bit harder with her computerized one or get that sentimental, where can they find you?
Shop EdenWoodcrafts.com or Eden Woodcrafts on Instagram.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone, for listening in to The Seed. If you'd like to receive our weekly newsletter, go to Dandelion-Inc.com and click Let's Connect. And please be sure to subscribe to the Seeds podcast to hear more inspiring stories from other badass women that are all around us. Remember, behind every woman is a tribe of other successful women who have their back. To you all, thank you.